coming out on February 13th, sorry, which is this Friday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So Seint has launched a new collection called Love Yourself Through It. And I absolutely love that Seint is being so intentional with like their branding, their launches, and like their like messaging behind it, because they definitely are trying to embody their mission statement. I don't know it on the top of my head, but I know there's this part of their mission statement that says, helping others look beautiful is nice, but helping them believe they're beautiful is powerful, or truly life changing. One of those two. I can't remember the exact phrasing. And what I love about that is that that has always been my mission statement. It's the reason why I became a licensed cosmetologist. It's the reason why I became a hairstylist. And it is the reason why I show up for you every single day, helping you to simplify makeup, helping you to understand that makeup doesn't have to be so complicated, and teaching you simple ways to create those beautiful you but better makeup looks, and to use makeup to help to empower you and help to embrace what is already there versus trying to change what we have. So let's talk a little bit about the launches. We're going to try to make this really nice and quick, right to the point. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. I will do my best to see your questions. Give me a second. Let me go ahead and, oh, that's wrong. Hold on. Oh, why isn't it working? Give me a second. So I want to make sure that this is watchable too, y'all. I am not tech savvy. I tried doing this whole entire live on my Facebook beauty group. Literally 30 minutes of me talking to absolutely nobody. It wasn't even streaming. Literally. Oh, okay. I'm yapping over there. It wasn't even streaming. It wasn't even showing up. And I like finished it and I went to go end the live, and I realized that that live had never actually started. It just said that starting, but it didn't actually start. It even had a countdown and everything and didn't actually start. So I'm like, oh, so annoyed. But let me know what questions you have. We're going to get through this really quickly because it's actually a smaller collection. And I actually love the fact that Seint is doing these smaller collections because, number one, as a makeup addict and someone who loves Seint Beauty, I want to purchase every single thing that comes out. But my budget ain't always there. And especially right now as we're getting ready for IVF, your girl's budget's a little tighter. So I appreciate the fact that Seint is creating more of these capsule size collections. So I believe that is going to be something new that they're going to be doing. I don't know how often, but I'm going to assume that like for bigger holidays, but we'll see. I'll definitely let you know. If you're not already part of my All Things Beautiful newsletter, that is where I usually inform you first. And my Facebook beauty group is the other place that I also inform you first. Where was I going with that? As far as sales go, I got this question recently, like Seint isn't doing as many sales as they used to. And it's because they're doing more promotion type things to kind of help people to get the best bang for their buck. And also because a lot of times when we shop like these big sales, we tend to overbuy too much and then we end up wasting product. So I believe that for bigger sales, it's going to be Black Friday and then maybe customer appreciation, but don't quote me on that one. I know for sure Black Friday will be their biggest sale, which has always been the case. I don't know what they're going to do for customer appreciation. I don't know anything besides what I'm sharing with you today. Seint artists, we usually find out a week before customers know. So don't think that I'm like withholding information from you for a very long time. As a Seint artist, I signed basically a little like terms and what's it called? Terms and conditions when I became a Seint artist that basically said that I wouldn't share these things before the time that they tell us to. So I wish that I could share it with you as soon as I know, but I share it with you the first moment that I can so that you can get ready. And the great thing is that we do have a week. Today, obviously, it's like a few days because the launch is coming out on the 13th. And there's also a gift with purchase, which we'll talk about that at the end. So let's get into the launches real quick. So we have two gorgeous palettes right here. Hey, Bridget, how are you? I can see some comments. So definitely during the live stream, feel free to comment below. I will post this as a replay so that you can rewatch it. And I'll post it onto Facebook, even though Facebook. I'm just so mad about it. I could crash out, but we're not going to. Calm down. All right, let's talk about the beautiful new palettes. These are called Palette 6. It's the first time that Seint comes out with this size palette for their Seint 3D foundation. So if you have no idea what Seint makeup is, it is this all-in-one custom makeup palette right here, where you can fit your whole entire routine into a magnetic palette that is customized to match your skin tone. And the beauty of it, it is a cream makeup formula, at least their complexion products are. So it's going to look and feel like skin. Pretend I don't have that little scabby going on there, okay? I picked a pimple and I know I shouldn't have, but we're not gonna talk about her right now. So this is perfectly matched to my skin tone, and this is actually my favorite way of teaching makeup for the first time when you're new to this makeup routine, called my starting 6 palette. So I love the fact that they launched this 6 palette 6 size, because Seint has starter collections that are a really great way for you to kind of get started when you're first getting used to this makeup, or to like basically minimize your makeup routine, condense it down in a budget friendly way. So there are 3 different collection sizes. The first one is the palette 4, which looks like this, and it comes with 4 tins and a brush. The second one is the palette 8, which looks like this, has 2 layers. And then the third one is the collection number 12, which looks like this. So this was the palette that I love, because I could do my 6 tins right here, and then I had space for 6 other tins down here. So I would put like my eyeshadows, my powders, all that stuff on the bottom layer, and I had my creams here, but I would have the 6 shades. And I love doing that because it just helps me to create these beautiful looks right here. And yes, I have a lot of blush on because we were playing with makeup earlier, so we're doing this all over again. So that's why it's a little heavier than what I originally started with, but we're gonna act like we don't have that much blush on, because it usually looks a lot more prettier. But if you are a blush fiend, this is great for you too. So this fits my starter 6, and I will be sharing that video on my how I achieve my starter 6 makeup look on Monday, so definitely stay tuned for that. But this is like a great way to get started with makeup. And basically it is a contour, foundation shade, concealer shade, bronzer shade, lip and cheek or blush shade. And then you can either do a cream illuminator, which gives you that pretty glow on the top of the cheekbones, or you could do a powder for your skin tone. There's vanilla dust, and then there's also feather dust. Now, if you don't mind that glowiness, if you have drier skin, maybe you don't need your makeup to be set for long periods of time because maybe you live in colder climate, you could actually switch this out for a lip and cheek as well. So you can have 2 lip and cheeks too. But my starter 6 routine is this right here. So I will teach you that more on Monday. And what I love about this is that not only can you fit the 6 large tins, but you can also fit 12 small tins. So you can set it up in so many different ways. So this is the second palette, and I'll talk about them a little bit more in a second. So just in here, I have 4 eyeshadows, and then we have 4 larger tins. And as you can see, you can set them up however you feel like. If you want to do it vertically, if you want to do it horizontally, whatever your little heart desires, you can make this palette truly your own. The reason why I like to set them up like this is because when I first got started with this makeup, it helped me to know where my makeup was. So like here, for example, I have my prep and set products. Here I have some lip and cheeks, and here I have some eyeshadows. So it helped me to know where everything was. Now, how I would use that, for example, is if I were doing like using this right here, maybe this is like, I'm very confused with what everything is. I could put these 2 horizontally, keep these 2 vertically like this, and then put these 2 horizontally again. And it just kind of helps me to remember the steps that I'm doing. I also like setting it up like this because this is the order that I put my makeup on in. So it's easy for me to go through it, versus when you have it in this palette right here, it would sometimes get confusing because you would have your tins like this, right? Because this is really the only way that you could set them up in here. I mean, you could set them up like this too. Actually, now that I remember, you can do it like this, but that would kind of get sometimes really, really confusing. So I love the fact that I can lay them out straight like this, and I can do them in order. Now you have 2 different colors in these palette 6s. The first one is called Soft Focus. And one thing that I love is about Seint Beauty specifically is their attention to details and their packaging. Their packaging is always just so phenomenal, and this is just a sign of that. And it's not like they just like slapped on a random picture. No, the photographer for Seint Beauty actually took this picture during one of their like trips or something like that, and they thought this picture was so beautiful that they decided to put it on a palette. So they printed it on this palette right here. This is called Soft Focus. So it is this gray, beautiful, very subtle, and this is what it looks like on the inside. It does have a wider, longer mirror in comparison to like the palette 12 that has like a shorter mirror. So here I could kind of see more of my face, but it's so hard to. Here, because it's longer, I could actually hold the mirror vertically like this, and I could see myself. Or I can also hold it horizontally and I could just focus on certain parts of my face. So I love the size of this mirror. I love the size of this compact too. I think that it is so, so beautiful. And just love the fact that it fits really nicely into my makeup bag. So this is what my makeup bag looks like. Right now she's stuffed with extra stuff that usually isn't in here. But literally they fit so perfectly in here. I could close it up and she's good to go. Versus sometimes the larger palettes with Seint, like the 12, for example, that is taller, doesn't always fit so perfectly in here. So I do have to shove it and like finesse it a little bit more to get it to fit in there. Or like even my palette 18, that is a little bit larger of a palette. So the palette 6 is about the width of the palette 8 and the palette 4, but it's a little longer. So just so you can see for size comparisons right here, right? Versus the palette 12 and the palette 6. You can see but that just makes it a little smaller, so it is a little bit more compact and slimmer. And I also feel like an artist when I'm holding this, because it kind of makes me feel like I'm painting with it. Then you have the other one, which, okay, fun fact about me, I actually hate the color pink. I know. But it's because pink can be so loud sometimes. But the reason why I chose to get this palette, because I almost didn't, but I chose to get it because of how they made this palette. So if you can't tell, these are actually lip and cheek swatches. And it's not just any lip and cheek swatch, it's actually Dahlia. This palette is called Pink Dahlia. So this is Dahlia Lip and Cheek, which is going to be your gift with purchase. We'll talk about her at the end. And they basically took like a metal spatula, took a like canvas and just like started swatching it and created this. So the social media team from Seint was the one who decided to make this. They took a picture of it because it was so beautiful and they decided to make it the palette. Tell me that isn't absolutely stunning. It is literally a work of art. So I just love that about it, because for me, that's what these palettes are. They're like an expression, a way that I express myself. Every single month, I like to reset my palette and like switch it out. So I have a ton of different palette sizes, colors, and just depending on my mood is what I decide to do with my palette. So I just love the fact that they made this into a work of art, and I low-key want them to do this with every single lip and cheek, because this is just so gorgeous. Like, Seint, can we do this with Black Cherry? Because that would be stunning. All right, so that is the first launch. We have the two different palettes. The second launch are these two gorgeous lip and cheeks that we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about the formulas. I'm going to compare them with a couple of others. Originally, when I was going to save the video from Facebook and make it into a YouTube video, I was going to have some swatches for you. But if you are in my Facebook beauty group, I do have those swatch comparisons, but I do want to compare them to a couple of other colors that I have gotten questions about in DMs. So this is the first lip and cheek right here. It is called Iman. And the second one is called Pink Flamingo. And they look absolutely insane. They look so bold and intense. The reason why is because of the formula. These are semi-gloss formulas. So semi-gloss formulas are going to be sheer like a gloss, but they're going to be a little bit less sticky. They're going to show a little bit more color and intensity than a gloss formula will. So let's go into the one that I was wearing on my cheeks by itself, but now I have it paired with this one and Dahlia, I think is what is on my cheeks. I think I have all three. Oh, excuse me. But I am going to take off what's on my lips so that I can just at least show you it on my lips. Let me fix my foundation. This is one thing I love about cream, is that even after, oh, that was too much. Even after I've set my makeup with powder, I can always go back in and touch up. I picked up way too much of that. It's okay. I hate having concealer on my lips because it tones down my natural lip color in a bad way and just makes every lip color look milky. All right, so this is Iman. A little thing about her, since she is a semi-gloss, when I first received her, it was when Florida decided to participate in winter, and it was literally frozen. And when I went to swatch her, it was hard as a rock. Nothing was coming out. And that happens sometimes, especially with these semi-gloss formulas, because it creates like a film. So what you want to do if that ever happens to you, that is it swatched on my arm right there, is press down into it. I don't know if you can see where my finger is. I basically took my finger, pressed down really hard and broke the seal, and it helped me to get the color underneath. And that helps to like revive it. Another thing you could do too is hold it in between your hands and warm it up for a little bit. Or you could also use a blow dryer on low. Be very, very careful with it and just like warm it up a little bit until it starts to sweat. So it'll kind of turn shiny like that, and it'll revive it and like warm it back up. So just keep that in mind in colder months. Cream makeup does tend to solidify and harden, and especially these semi-gloss formulas, they tend to create a film over the top, and it's because of the ingredients that are in them. Oh, interesting. They both have actually the same ingredients, but like in different orders, which makes sense. Anyway, so that is Iman. She is basically black cherry in a semi-gloss formula. So I'm going to show you what black cherry looks like. You can see it. Here's black cherry. Here's Iman. Very similar, but you can see the formula finish, how this is more reflective. So that is a gloss formula. This is a shade that a lot of people get scared of, but when you wear it, she's actually really pretty. The thing that I hate about black cherry, even though as you can see, I do love her, but what I hate about it is that it is sticky. So I've always had to put the feather dust powder on top so that it gets rid of that stickiness. But if you have drier skin or maybe like texture on your skin, you may actually like the fact that this is a little bit more hydrating than like the satin formulas. Semi-gloss is kind of in between the semi-gloss and satin formula, so it's not as matte as the satins, but it's not as sticky as the glosses. So that is black cherry. Another color that a lot of people said that it was similar to. It doesn't look similar in the tin. This is a satin formula. This is a semi-gloss formula. This is Huckleberry. I feel like it looks similar in the swatch. So I'm going to show you what it looks like, because I definitely do agree that it is very, very similar. So it's kind of like, this is a little more neutral. This has a little more warmth to it and a little more purple to it. Another color that it looks similar to is Haze, but I feel like Haze, because it's cooler, it actually pulls a lot more purple. But I want to show you these swatches really quickly. So there is Iman, Black Cherry, Huckleberry, and Haze. And then another color that a lot of people asked about was Royal. So this is Royal, this is Iman, and you could tell right off the bat that this is more red brown. Another color that I absolutely love, as you can tell by me hitting pan on it. I'm going to put that one right next to it so that you can see it with Black Cherry here, Iman, and then Royal. So Royal is just a little bit more of a reddish brown shade. And then the last shade that a lot of people asked about is Fig. Fig is also a semi-gloss formula, but she has a lot more pigment. So she's very intense, as you can see. So there is Royal, Haze, Huckleberry, Black Cherry, Iman, and Royal. I feel like I said that wrong. Hold on. Fig, Haze, Huckleberry, Black Cherry, Iman, and Royal. I'm going to just hold that there for a second, so if you want to take a screenshot, you can. This is what Iman looks like next to them, and that is what I have on my lips right here. Now, I will tell you that with these formulas, they definitely are a shade that I would recommend getting one of these little palettes for, so that you could touch them up if you are going to wear them on the lips, because they do not wear long. They do wear longer than the gloss, but they don't wear like for hours. I would say that it probably wears maybe for an hour, depending on what you're doing. And if you're wearing it by itself, it'll definitely last a little bit longer. But if you put like something like a balm on top, a gloss on top, that'll break it down a little bit. It does leave a little bit of a stain behind, but nothing like insane. So I'm gonna go ahead, wipe that off, and let's talk about Pink Flamingo. So Pink Flamingo looks intense and crazy. It is a cool toned hot pink, but since it's semi-gloss, she's more sheer. So this is what Pink Flamingo looks like. It almost feels like I didn't do anything. I did, I promise I did. And she actually is more pigmented than what that swatch looked like. I think my arm was still just a little bit wet from the makeup remover. There it's showing it a little more true to color. Again, I do have Iman and Pink Flamingo mixed on my cheeks, which we'll talk about that in a second. But it is a cool toned hot pink that looks absolutely stunning. It's what I had on my lips when I first started this live stream. If you're watching the replay, it's what I first had on in the beginning of the video. And it may look a little different now because I did have Iman underneath and that kind of left a little bit of a stain, but that's what it looks like on its own. And I actually really, really love this shade. I think this is the perfect shade to transition from summer, winter into spring. And I want to show it in comparison to a couple other shades. This is Princess Bubblegum, a gloss formula. She is more warmer. She is more sheer. Very pretty, but definitely very, very sheer. Then we have Pink Slip, which is this more darker pink, while this is more vibrant of a pink. This is also a gloss formula as well. So there is Pink Slip. Another color I got asked about that I didn't put in my original swatch, so I do want to show it, is Ruby. Ruby is way more berry, hot pink berry gloss formulas. And then last color, Baby Watermelon. This is the cool tone pink that Seint currently has in their lineup, but she's a satin formula and she is a lot more white base. So this is Pink Flamingo. This is Baby Watermelon. So if you ever find that Baby Watermelon pulls a little ashy on you, Pink Flamingo is going to add a little bit of that depth in there, and because it doesn't have that white base, it's going to be more true to color. So she's going to be a brown girl's dream. I absolutely love it. So there we have Pink Flamingo, Princess Bubblegum, Pink Slip, Ruby, and Baby Watermelon. All right. So the lip and cheeks are going to be $16. The palettes are going to be $21. Now, they do not qualify for palette credit. So something that, if you didn't know this, every time you purchase a Seint tin, depending on how much you spend, you get money off of your palettes. This only counts for the permanent line. Since these are limited edition, essentially, they decided not to do palette credit for this, to kind of see how they do. If they do really well, maybe in the future they may bring them back and they will qualify for palette credit. And that's something I'll always let you know in my Facebook beauty group whenever things like that happen. Because that was the same thing with these little guys. These little guys used to not qualify for palette credit, but because they've been doing so well, Seint decided to keep them a permanent part of their lineup. They just change out the colors, and they do qualify now for palette credit. So you can get them sometimes for free, depending on like how many tins you purchase. So with this promotion, or sorry, with this launch is a Valentine's Day promotion. So when you purchase $60 or more on anything on the Seint website, this is $60 USD, by the way, you will get a free Dahlia lip and cheek, which is a permanent lip and cheek that has been a staple for years, and she is absolutely stunning. I'm going to go ahead and swatch her next to these pinks right here so that you can see the difference. It's definitely way different than the other pinks that we have going on here. So that is Pink Flamingo. That is Dahlia. Dahlia is more of a corally pink, while this is more of a hot, cool tone pink. Those cool tones tend to give a lot more lift. This is a great shade for the summertime, the springtime. I like to mix her a lot with a bunch of other lip and cheeks, and I'll show you that in a second. So the reason why I want to clarify this, and I left this for the end, is because I've been getting a lot of questions and confusion. The lip and cheek is available, the gift with purchase free Dahlia lip and cheek that is only available in Canada and US, by the way, is available from the 13th to the 18th of February. So regardless if you buy the new launches or anything else on the website, when you spend $60 or more on Seint's website, you will get a free Dahlia lip and cheek. The new launches, however, are available while supplies last. So they both, the promotion and the new launches, come out at the same time and day, but these are available while supplies last. So if they sell out in 2 days, that's it. If they sell out on the same time that this sells out, it just was coincidence. Or sorry, at the same time this promotion ends, it was just a coincidence. And if they sell out a month later, they sell out a month later. If it's 3 months from now, it's 3 months from now. But the new launches, including the lip and cheeks, are available while supplies last. So it is a limited edition, if you will, capsule collection that is going to be available on February 13th. And regardless, if you spend $60, so if you were to purchase all the 2 new palettes and the 2 new lip and cheeks, I believe it's $72, something like that. I can't remember the exact math. I did it earlier and I forget. It's on my phone, which I'm currently using right now, so I can't look at it. But you would get this for free until the 18th. After the 18th, you can still purchase all of these products if they're available still, which I'm pretty sure they will be. But you just won't get a free gift with purchase. So that's pretty much it. The gift with purchase, again, you can purchase anything on the same website. So if you're like, I don't like any of those new launches don't seem like they'd be for me, but I want to take advantage of the free gift with purchase, you can purchase anything on the Seint website. So if you're trying to get like a starter palette, whatever the case may be, you'll get this for free. So Dahlia, here's something that I feel like a lot of people don't do with the lip and cheeks that I feel like needs to be done more often. You can actually mix and match the lip and cheeks. And how I like to do that whenever I'm applying it onto my face, I'll do it on the back of my hand to make sure that I like the color that I created first before putting it on my face. And that's why I have a million different blushes on my face, is because I did this earlier. So this is nude lip and cheek with Dahlia. You see how it turned it more into like a mauve pink, but it adds some depth. While nude on its own is more like cooler, doesn't have enough depth, and sometimes can make you look ghostly. This is adding a little bit of that rosiness. So if you want like a mauve pink, Dahlia is a great one to mix in with nude. You can also mix it. Where did I put it? Oh my gosh. Oh, we have a missing lip and cheek. Here it is. You can also mix it with Iman. So if you get Iman, it looks real pretty with Dahlia. It makes it into this really pretty pinky berry shade. There's Dahlia. There's Dahlia with Iman. And I'll show you Iman on its own, kind of for a control. So do we see how I was able to create 5 lip and cheek shades with 3 lip and cheeks? And you can even create even more if you mix them all together and make your own concoction. So definitely feel free to play, feel free to create. That's what I love about cream makeup, is that it just makes you turn into an artist and creates so many gorgeous looks. And that's what I have going on my cheeks here, is all of the lip and cheeks essentially, that I think is all of these. I put them together and paired them on top of everything. So you wear them on their own. You could do this on your lips too. And whenever I'm applying it onto the face, what I'll do is make sure that I have enough on the back of my hand. Pick up a brush like this. The Pilot brush is one of my favorites. And I'll just stamp into it and like dot it on. Or you can even, like, after you mix it up, whatever's left on your fingers, just use that to tap it on. So that is a great way to create your own lip and cheeks. So those are the new launches. Let me know what your thoughts are. What are you excited for? And if you need a color match, I'm gonna go ahead and link my color match form into the description box of this replay. And I'll also put the link for you to shop. And if you need some help, I'll put my beauty hotline number in there and just message me. It's literally my business phone number. I do have working hours. But I don't always follow them as much as I should, because I struggle with boundaries. So depending, if you message me on a Sunday, I most likely will not reply back to you. Sometimes on Saturdays I don't either, because I have clients, but usually Monday through Friday I tend to